Well, what do we have here? These two things right here are my previous two attempts at aircraft carriers. One of them is a Great Lakes freighter that has been turned into an aircraft carrier, and the other one was my other attempt at an aircraft carrier. Now, both of them are actually kind of cool, but I don't think either of them are actually quite right. I actually think I prefer the Great Lakes one. Anyway, today we're going to be building something that is about 100 meters long by, 10 meters wide, and we're going to be building it right here. So, let's start off by building the deck. It's a bit of a weird place to start, but let's try. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the workbench and see what we can build. Well, we've started with this really big long line. This is the length of the ship, and it's a 127 meters. I believe that's as long as it can sort of be, so we're going to go with it. So, let's go ahead and start off by trying to design a cross-section from the top and see what kind of shape we can come up with, and then we're going to go down from there. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's go ahead and figure this bit out. So, it's 127 meters wide. Let's, instead of it being like 10 meters wide, let's have it be around 15. There you go, so 15 meters wide. I think that's big enough for a deck, probably. And then we can fit a plane on there as well, and probably a bridge, maybe. Okay, so let's get started then. We're going to start off with about 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Bit pointy so far, but that's okay. And then about 10 of these. So that is 10 right there. Okay, excellent, I believe. Maybe. And then this is the last one, and this is going to be the thing that brings it out to a finish. So send this from here. Oh wow, this is actually the right place. I stopped it in the right place. That's incredible. So that's how pointy this thing is actually going to be. That seems too pointy. We need more of these pieces. You know, I'm trying to get this so it's a little bit more smooth. I can't have too many of these, or too many of these, or even too many of these, because then it makes some like really flat areas, and I don't want that. Obviously, we only have 1x1s to work with, 1x2s, and 1x4s, and it's just not really enough, you know? I feel like we need 1x8s, and obviously I can get a mod for that, but I don't really want to get a mod for it either, you know? Which is kind of dumb to say, but it is what it is. Anyway, that looks pretty good. Yeah, let's roll with this. So, on the interiors, let's go ahead and delete this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and all of the interior bits of these pieces all the way down. It's going to take me some time, but we are going to get there. There we go, excellent. All of these pieces too, all the way to there, and then we can obviously just fill it in. Whoa, bam! Okay, perfect. It still looks a little bit pointy and not very round, but I think we can deal with this. I don't know, is it too pointy? I think it actually is. I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, and we'll make it a nicer, rounder shape. Oh yeah, I think that is much more like what I wanted. In fact, that is a lot more like what I wanted. So essentially all I really did was add more of the 1x1s, and then, yeah, I went with the 1x2s, 1x4s, and now it looks like this, which I think is pretty cool. Let me know in the comments down below what ship you think this is based on, by the way, because I think it'll be kind of interesting to see if I do it right, for one, and if you guys know what ship it is, for two. It'll be interesting to see. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and zoom this all the way back to there. Going to do the same thing on the underside of here, and actually, I don't know whether to start with those, or whether to start with, you know what, let's do it slightly different. Let's use the 1x4s to begin with. Because this is going to be a relatively big ship. So we'll go with 1x4s right there. And then obviously we're going to have to go with 2x4s on this bit. So from here all the way to there. There we go. All the way to here. And then we're going to go with 4x4s for the last bit. All the way down to there. There we go. Alright, this bit too. All the way down to there. And actually I do think we probably need this bit in. But I could be wrong. Yeah, that works. And then we're going to have the step. So the step essentially is just going to be 1x2s on this bit. 2x2s on the next bit. Here we go. And then 2x4s on the piece after that. All the way down to here. And I'm going to do that one more time. Okay? So, one more time, all the way down to the end. Fantastic. Then do these pieces all the way down to there, like that. And then obviously we need to do these pieces down here. Perfect. Underneath that, we're then going to go back to 1x4s again. Alright, so we've got the step. The step is what makes this kind of cool. So, I like that. Let's go ahead and continue this all the way backwards now. And, well, hope for the best. I'm sure it'll be fine, maybe. Alright, there we go. Attach that on. All the way back to here. And then we're just going to continue it backwards. So this is going to be a relatively tall boat, but I don't really know how tall we can actually make it. But so far, that looks so cool. Let's go ahead and do another layer of 1x4s. There we go. 2x4s underneath that, and then obviously 4x4s behind that. After this piece, I think what we'll do is have it start going inwards, which means instead of 1x4s, we go with 1x2s. Go ahead and zoom that across there. We'll do 2 of those. And then obviously we need to just do the same setup that we did up there, all the way to the back right here. And again, on this piece, all the way to there. And then we're going to start with the 1x. So a 1x right there. And then we obviously do the 2x on this piece, like so. And that's how we get to the end. All right, I think this is going to work out, maybe. Okay, so I went down a few more times with the 1x's. In fact, I think I only went down one more time, but that's fine. And what I'm going to do up here is actually have the straight bit come backwards a little bit. I don't generally do this too often with such big ships, but I do feel like it is actually necessary on this one. So we're going to have those guys come back to there, and then on the underside, I think we'll actually have that bit be the angle right there. Yeah, okay, perfect. And that just gives us a nicer edge on this little area. So all we do is fill this bit in from here to here, and that looks really good. Yeah. On the underside right here, we're just going to go ahead and chuck this in from here to here as well, if I can. There we go. Deleting those guys as we go backwards, obviously. We're going to do that again, and then we're going to do it with these pieces, clearly. So that one goes in, and this one goes in. There we go. All right, perfect. From there, we're going to go ahead and fill in the bottom floor of this, just like that. And then I want to do the front edge, which I kind of want to just go like this, and then have it curve in at the bottom. I know that's a little bit strange, but that's what I want to do. so that is what we're going to do. Fill in all of these bits, there we go. And then do something down here to fill it in properly. I don't know what the filling in will be, but it needs to be there. So one of those probably, and one of those. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Maybe. I'm going to go ahead and chuck this backwards from here now. So that one goes back, this one goes back, and then obviously all of these side bits go backwards as well. And I want to see what this looks like on the land. I don't know whether it's going to be quite right. I'm not sure. Whenever I build something this big, I feel like I always get the dimensions kind of wrong, and it ends up looking a bit weird. So we'll have to wait and see, but let's go ahead and check that up there. I think that's cool. So, I thought we were building a big boat, but next to these boats, it doesn't really look very big at all. The thing is, the deck can be, like, extended out to the side slightly, so don't worry too much about that. I could build it in this sort of system, where the deck is actually suspended above, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want the deck to actually be the deck. This is just going to be a smaller carrier, and I think building it smaller is actually going to give me more of an opportunity to build it nicer, possibly. So, I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and build this backwards now. Try and build a stern on it, and then we can figure out where the superstructure is going to go, paint the deck color on. Or maybe we won't do that just yet. And then maybe we'll, like, widen out the deck slightly as well. I think I am going to have a slight overhang. At least. Maybe a little bit. You know what? I'm going to change the side slightly. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it as is. So, that's all good. What I should really do as well is have that little, like, bulge thing that comes out the side. But I want this thing to stay as simple as possible. And when it comes to, like, anti-aircraft guns and stuff like that, I think I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible there as well. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But let's just go ahead and continue it backwards like this. And essentially, we'll just have a really flat-sided ship. Yes. That's fine with me. I don't really mind flat-sided ships. Obviously, a little bit of extra detail could go into the side, but we don't necessarily need it. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom all of this backwards until we're at the rear, and then we'll start working on the stern. Okay, so I've made it to the back. I always struggle with sterns, and I'm not entirely sure why, so we're just going to go ahead and try our best, you know? That's how this is going to work. So let's go ahead and chuck this down to there, and essentially from up here, I'm going to use one of these, and I'm going to try and just send it. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and just do, I don't know, like this, I guess? Or am I going to do this? Alright, it's going to be slightly different, but there you go. So that's going to go across there like that. And actually, the rear end needs to be kind of short, I feel. So for now, let's just go ahead and get rid of most of this. We'll leave 1 or 2 bits so we can see where the end is. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete this as well. There we go. And we're just going to build the back end here. And then, yeah, figure it out from there. Slowly but surely, we are getting there. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach this one to the back right here. This one as well. And then we're just going to whack these ones in too. Here we go. So that goes in there. And this goes in here as well. Okay. Go from here to the other side. There we go. I mean, it's looking alright. It's not looking... I wish that I could have it longer. It'd be nicer for it to be longer, but we need like 4x8s, you know? I don't really feel like modding it for that. I don't. I don't like the idea of modding. I don't know why. Because now the Steam Workshop actually works fine with that, but it's still, I don't know. It's in my head. I just don't like it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and chuck that on there, and we're going to chuck this down here. There we go. And I think I'm actually just going to keep sending it like this as we go back, rather than changing it up for a 1x4 or anything like that. We're just going to do it like this, send that guy across there like this, and I think that's fine. Yeah. Obviously the rear end is still wide open, but we can fix this. Okay, so back end doesn't look too good, but it's there! We have built a back end. I feel like maybe I could spend a little bit more time building that, but honestly, most of it is underwater anyway. The bit that is above the water is actually fine. This bit does look a little bit strange though, but it is what it is. That's okay. So, chuck this guy in here. We're just going to go ahead and fill in all of this section, because obviously it needs filling in, otherwise we'll sink. There we go. Alright, chuck that bit across there as well. And from here, we go back to there. And then we're just going to zoom it from there all the way across. There we go. So now we technically have a hull that will float. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness, it starts way in the sky. There it is, though. It is down. I have a plan, but I don't think it's a good one. I was thinking maybe I'll actually extend this upwards slightly. By like, I don't know, maybe 12 blocks or so. Just have it continue upwards. Have this bit stay as it sort of is. And then it can... Oh. Let's have a look, see what that looks like. Alright, so the problem with doing this is that this little bump right here is sort of in the right place for how high this currently is. But I'm going to go ahead and attempt to raise this up slightly and just see what that looks like. So if I delete all of these extra bits right here, there we go. We can just go ahead and grab one of these, chuck it on there like this. Hold on. There we go. Zoom that all the way to the front right there. Go ahead and do it one more time right here. And possibly one more time. That's kind of how tall I want it to be, maybe. And then from here, we're obviously just going to zoom it forwards to there. There we go. There's 1 and 2 and finally 3. There we go. And then obviously we just got to do all of these bits all the way to the front. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's the other problem. We're too far forward. Oh, does that look strange anyway? I feel like this is too strange anyway. But let's just go ahead and continue this all the way to the front. Do this one pretty much all the way to the front too. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Do we go with it? Do we not go with it? Change of mind. Change. Delete all of these bits. There we go. What if we actually do another step up here? This could make things even weirder, but let's try it. So, there we go. We're putting the step in. So that goes there, that goes there. Let's go ahead and grab this guy and chuck this all the way back. Like that. Go ahead and chuck this one all the way back like this as well. And then 2x4s on this bit. And we'll see how that ends up looking. It could be really strange, but sometimes it's actually really worth looking into and seeing if you can do it anyway. I think we try it. Yeah. So, in order to do this then, we have to grab this guy from here. In fact, all the way down here. All the way to the bottom. Grab the underside. All the way on the other side as well. All of this. And all the way up to here. And we're going to cut it. Alright, so cut that. My goodness, there we go. Bring that back a good bit. Oh, that's a problem. Alright, hang on. If I delete all of this and all of that, if I just keep deleting it, actually, I'll be able to bring it back by however many I need to, and that'll be good. Alright, so it doesn't have to go back by loads, it just has to go back by a bit, just so that we can put a point back on the front of this. So I've shoved it back in. Let's see if we can get to a point with it. So that one goes there. Yep, that one goes there. We're obviously going to have to do these guys going all the way forwards as well. I'll just go up for now. That's fine. Check these guys on here. There we go. 1 and 2. That's it. Yeah. All right, cool. We've managed. We've managed to do it. So that guy goes on there. These guys go in the front. I don't know whether I like it or not. I'm not sure just yet. But build that back. Especially because I haven't made it any wider. But I think that is actually fine. Yeah. Let's go ahead and put a deck sort of thing on top of there for now. Like this. And then we can roll with that. I think we go with it. It's quite tall now, but I think that's about right. Okay, so that is going to be the new runway height up there, and then I guess this down here is just going to be, I was going to say a deck, but actually I'll likely get rid of most of this area, all the way back, pretty much, so delete most of that. There. Okay, that's deleted. We can leave that bit in at the front. In fact, actually, that can come back to, like, here anyway. We are going to need hangers on this in some sort of area as well, but I'm not sure where that's going to be just yet. And I think we'll probably build this up right here. There we go. So the rear deck is going to be open on the bottom. Probably not that far forward, though, actually. Probably a bit further back than that. Maybe likely around here. There we go. Obviously, the deck is going to go on the top of here, so let's do that. There we go. And then I need to make sure the deck comes all the way to the rear of the ship. I think I'm just going to use these. It could be a bit strange using them, but no, I think I'm just going to use it. So these are going to come straight back. We're not going to have like that little bump on the back. It's just going to be flat, which isn't like the nicest thing in the world, but I think that works. And I'm happy with it. So we'll go with that for now. Okay. Bit crazy, but I think it's alright. Yeah. Okay, so from here, we're just going to go ahead and build this up to there. Alright, that can be a flat edge. That's okay. I am just going to go ahead and build this across here as well. And then I don't know what to do on the interior of this just yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in on the side. Pretty much all the way to the front. There we go. My goodness. What a crazy hull. Well then, I think from about here, I'm going to do the thing that I said I was going to do earlier. We're going to extend it upwards, and we're actually going to extend it outwards slightly as well. And this is going to be like, kind of like a mini extension onto our runway. It's going to go slightly out to the side. Now, it's not going to be full length, because we're not going to have any supports back here, but it is going to go down the sides. Kind of. So every so often we're going to have this sort of struttage come out, and we're going to have it sent all the way down the end. So the plan is every 15 blocks or so, we are going to go ahead and shove one of these in. So we're sending it all the way to the other end of the ship. And hopefully, at the other end, it'll sit in a nice location. The thing is, it might not. And that would be really annoying. But I think it will. So we're just going to have it go all the way to the front, obviously. And once we've got it there, that will be it. All right, keep it going. I need to figure out where the bridge is going to go as well. And obviously I need to figure out where the elevators will go. We're going to have 2 elevators on this one. And if I'm honest, I'm not going to do like a crazy amount of interior detail. I'm just going to try and do as much detail as I sort of can, but I want it to be as simple as possible. Okay? That's what I want this to be. Just so that I actually finish the project. Because you guys know me by now. If it gets a little bit too crazy, I end up not liking it, and my brain cannot finish projects like that. So, yeah, that's where things become an issue. But anyway, let's go ahead and merge all of these guys together. I might have put too many on here. I thought 15 blocks was wide enough, but actually, it looks like 15 blocks is too common. Yeah, I think this is way too close together. So I might have to delete the ones in the middle, I guess. Yeah, so let's start doing that. Delete this one, and this one. And then we can keep doing that all the way back, and hopefully that looks a lot better. I think it will. I've gone ahead and extended it backwards by 1 as well back here, because it didn't actually line up on this little section, and I still feel like this is still a long enough area, so that's all good. With that being said, I do believe I am actually just going to go ahead and extend the runway out to there. So in order to do that, I think I'm just going to use these. There we go. That's going to go all the way to the front of the ship, pretty much. Let me go all the way down there and check this out. That's going to go to there. And then on this piece, we could probably do this. And it almost lines up with the actual aircraft bit anyway. Oh, with the actual ship bit anyway. I think we'll do that. I'm going to do the same thing at the back. We might as well. So that's going to join up with this. I'm going to delete these guys and just fill this in. I think that's it. Yeah. Cool. That's nice. You know, I'm actually going to go ahead and add railings now. Bit of a crazy time to do it, but I think I'm going to. So, railing on there. And in fact, railing on every single one of these. And then I'm just going to join them together with straight railings. And that'll be fine. This will stop anything from sort of falling off the ship, but also it just is nice. so there you go. On the very ends, I'm just going to put an end segment on. There we go. And I'm just going to zoom it from the end all the way down. There we go. All the way down to the end. Beautiful. Now, normally I wouldn't do this because, well, I'm going to have to paint these in the future anyway. But I think I want to try and attempt to build something all in white, just to see what it looks like all in white. Obviously, I could just change it back, but I don't know. This is interesting so far. I think I'm going to put some holes in the sides as well. This is going to be for, like, lifeboats and stuff like that, and I'm just going to do it right here. I don't know how big they really should be, but I think that's good enough. Let me go ahead and round off the edges on this too, so that's going to go there. Fill that little bit in. Put that guy right there and do this. And then I'm going to shove that there. Okay, that's a nice little rounding off. We're going to do the same thing on the other side as well. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay, shove that guy in there. And shove this guy into here. And obviously in there. Okay, that's a nice little area. so that's good. I believe then we can actually have a deck in here at about this height. Which is the same height as this. Perfect. I think I'm going to have 2 of these at the front, actually, so they can fit in there. Obviously, the way I've done this isn't quite right, but that's okay. Delete that guy, and this guy, and this guy, and that bit right there. Merge that with this. Okay, so we get 2 large openings right there. Okay, so going further back, I think we're going to have a slightly smaller opening on this bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Delete from here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Delete from here. Upwards. About the same height as the other one, actually. So that's going to go all the way up to there. I am just going to go ahead and shove this guy on here again. So one of those there. Sorry, no, it's actually in the wrong place. One there and one here. Fill this in. There we go. And bosh that in there. Same thing right here as well, obviously. So, turn it around. There we go. I've spent years playing this game and I still can't do the rotations. And that's a slightly smaller one there. Okay, that's fine. You know, I kind of feel like these need to be on the rear of the ship, not the front of the ship. But they're already in. So I'm leaving them there. I am going to go ahead and put some more on the rear though. So let's get one in back here at least. There we go. And one behind it as well. There we go. So obviously I'm going to have to merge those in and delete all of the extra blocks on the inside. I've gone ahead and added a little bit of a shelf on the inside of here. This is just so that we can actually get to these areas, and also maybe lifeboats and stuff can go in there, and they can sit on that shelf. The rest of these areas, we could put side guns on, if we wanted to, but again, I need this thing to stay pretty minimalistic, just so that this actually sort of is able to run and work, and not run into parts limits and also random robotic problems. You know, because we could end up with some, I don't know, pivot problems, etc. But so far, that's okay. Well then, I need to figure out where the superstructure is going to go on the deck. So I think it's going to go around this location right here. And actually, it's going to be pretty long. So we're going to go with about this length, and then we're going to start bending it in. It's not going to be very like wide or anything. It's probably going to be like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 wide on the interior, which is actually very skinny. In fact, let's do 7, just because we can. We're going to do 7 wide, and then we can like bend it round and it be all good. So we'll do one of those and one of these, and then one of these guys. Here we go. One of those and one of those, and then obviously just seal it off together. So one of these and one of these, and just do this. Boop. There we go. Same thing at the front, and that's going to be sort of where our superstructure is going to go. The thing is, it is extremely skinny. Oh, it is. But obviously that gives enough room for planes and stuff to take off past it, so I think I'm okay with that. I might extend it slightly though. There we go, I extended it by one of these fence posts, so like all of this area right here is what it was extended by. And I think that works, so it's now relatively large. I think in total area of the deck, that actually fits in quite nicely. Not going to build it all just yet, but eventually we will. And we're going to do some weird, crazy stuff on the structure as well. So we're going to have to try and balance this ship nicer than normal. But that's okay. So, what I want to do from here then, I actually don't know. Right, we're going to need some sort of supports for this area back here. So I'm just going to go ahead and chuck that down to there. I'm going to chuck another one from here down to there as well. I don't know if that's an even distance. We should probably check. So this is 15, and then on this side, that is, wow, 15. That's crazy. That never happens to me. Anyway, from here to here, we are actually going to put a brace in, like that. And I am going to try and brace it by doing stuff like this. Okay, so from there down would be nice, I think. Is that in the right place? Yep. Okay. Another one. There? Is that even correct? This one's 3 and this one's 4. So not really correct. Alright, but I am going to go ahead and put some bracing in here. It's going to look nice. And then we're going to try and do some bracing back there too. And more supports. That'll do me just fine. That looks pretty good. So we've added a struttage in there, and I'm going to go ahead and box this off on the rear, and I'm actually just going to go ahead and chuck in an extra bit of oomph on the inside. That is looking beautiful. So from here, what do we want to do? Well, I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and support the entire thing, just like this. Yeah. So we're going to run this all the way back, like that. There we go. On the very rear, I am actually just going to go ahead and chuck this up like that, and this up like this. There we go. And then I would like to add some bits in between these, but I don't think I'm going to. I think what I'll do is... oh, maybe I will. I'll just do this. So every 4, I'm going to add an extra one of these. And that's going to be our support. There we go. Every 4, except the rear one, which of course is there. Alright, yep, that works. Let's go ahead and trick these guys in on this side as well. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. And that's all good with me. Cool. From there, I guess, we're just going to go ahead and start adding some extra supports. So, where am I going to do that? Where am I going to do that? I think I also want this to actually be blocked off too. So I'm going to do that too. There we go. So I do actually feel like this deck is slightly too close to the deck above, but in the grand scheme of things, that is a-okay. Yeah, I still like the way that this is going, so we're going to continue with it, I think. But so far, so good. This is cool. So, what I might eventually change on this, actually, is the thing that's letting it down the most, which is the stern. The stern back here probably needs work. I, for some reason in my head, get really stuck with sterns, and I don't know why, but sometimes I struggle with it. So we're going to try and sort that out very soon. But, before we do anything else, I'm actually just going to go ahead and chuck some of these railings in here, and actually, I might as well just send it all the way to the back bit right here as well. And eventually we'll obviously go all the way around the back, but I'm just going to end it there with that piece. I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy and this guy too, and we'll put middle segments in. There we go, one there and one here, and that's fine. This bit does look a little bit strange though, so actually, maybe I'll get rid of this bit for now. Yeah. We'll sort that bit out later. I'm kind of in the mindset that I actually want to paint it at least a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and add some paint just to see what it looks like when I do that. Obviously, we're going to go with red on the bottom. Here we go. Yep, there's going to be a lot of painting on this. Like a lot of painting. This little section is going to have to be painted on its own every single time, but that's okay. So, paint the underside. There we go. Paint this little bit, and probably this bit too. There we go. All of that. Alright, fantastic so far. Paint all of these. There we go. And I'm actually going to go ahead and get this grey. I'm going to jug that in all the way around there. And I can't jug in the side, but that's fine. Go ahead and paint these bits. And then let's do this side as well. Although this is kind of the wrong grey, if I'm honest. We might change this to a different grey, but that's fine. So, zoom this all the way down to the rear. It might even be slightly taller than this, so I might have to do this again. But, yeah, I just want to see what it looks like. That's my main concern right now. Just seeing what it looks like. I also have to paint the stern as well, because obviously the stern is currently not painted. So, I'll do that. But here we go. These bits and these bits. There we go. And then all of these extra little tiny bits underneath. And then we can jug it. Yep. Alright, get... What? No. No. Where's the red gone? Hey! There we go. Alright, jug these bits. Excellent! All the way down to there, including these, and this, and this, and this. And unfortunately, I have to paint this bit as well. I've done it a bit wrong, but that's okay. There we go. Slowly but surely. Get rid of all that. Okay. And then get the red again. Paint that in. Paint this in. Get the grey. Paint all of that. And this. And this. And this. And all of this. And yeah, I feel like it needs to be a bit taller. Tiny bit taller. Alright, there we go. I changed it to a lighter grey. I do think I've made this slightly too big now, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and change the colour of this to be, like warship colour-ish. I don't know which of these colours I want to do. Probably that, to be honest. But now that I've painted that, we now need a deck colour, which I think is going to be blue. Yeah, blue. Bit strange, in fact very strange, but it's okay, so that's going to go there. And then on the insides, or the bottom, we're going to have green be the colour down here. And in fact, instead of that green, it's probably going to be the dark green. Like that. Yes. So that's going to be the colour for the deck on the underside. The deck on the top is going to be blue, and that's fine. I think this is looking good so far. I changed the color slightly, it's more of a nicer blue now, and I'm going to go ahead and put a center line in. So I now have to go from the front of the aircraft carrier all the way to the rear, and yes, it's going to take some time. I think I'm going to leave it as 2 lines. I was initially going to just make it 1 solid line, but I think 2 lines make sense. Oh my, I am struggling with this. I don't know why. Alright, get rid of that. Yeah, 2 lines seems to make sense to me. So we'll just zoom it down all the way to the end, and that'll be great. I do need to figure out where the elevators can be, because I feel like there's going to have to be quite a few elevators, maybe more than 2, which I normally just add 2, 1 at the front, 1 at the back. But maybe it'll be 2 again. I don't know. Alright, zoom that all the way back there. Slowly but surely, and we're done. Alright, 1 huge line down the center is finito. In a few seconds, we're going to be able to see the 2 aircraft carriers we started with looking at, and then the base of the aircraft carrier we were just building, that bit, and then obviously the aircraft carrier we are building just now as well. So I do think it is better being a little bit taller. It would have been cool being that short, but yeah, I think what we've got so far is looking about right. Yeah, I actually think that's looking really good. Whether I continue with this or not, I'm not so sure just yet. But I think I'm going to end this video here for now. I'm going to let you guys decide whether I continue at least a little bit more on this. Probably build the superstructure on it. Figure out an engine sort of system. It might even be that I just put in, you know, some of the large engines just to get this thing moving. And then maybe we'll just try and land a plane on it, because I think that'll be sick. But yeah, there is a lot more to this if we wanted there to be more. AA guns probably need to be positioned as well. Although again, I want this to be as simple as possible, so I'm not sure just yet. But it's looking good. It is looking really good. Anyway, for now, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.